Welcome to EUPrivacyForAll, Session 35 on GDPR, Tasks of the Data Protection Officer, Article 37. European Parliament suggested that the controller or the processor would designate a DPO that would raise awareness, in particular with regard to the technical and organizational measures and procedures, verify compliance, and inform the employee representatives in case of processing of personal data of the employees. EU Council suggested that the DPO would inform and advise the controller or the processor and the employees who are processing personal data. It would monitor compliance with this regulation, but also with union or member state data protection laws and policies. It would provide advice regarding data protection impact assessment, cooperate and be the contact point of DPAs, notably in the frame of prior consultation. It would finally perform its tasks having due regard to the risks associated with the processing operation. Article 37 on the tasks of the Data Protection Officer finally states that the Data Protection Officer shall at least have the following tasks: inform and advise the controller or the processor and the employees who are processing personal data, as suggested by EU Council; monitor compliance, once again, as suggested by EU Council, including the assignment of responsibilities, awareness raising, and training of staff involved in the processing operations or in Following most of EU Council, it will also provide advice as regards DPIAs and their monitoring, cooperate and be the contact point for the supervisory authority, and have due regard to the risk associated with the processing. As already stressed, key provisions make clear that the appointment of a DPO is not mandatory, and that most of its guidance will tackle risks identification, assessment, and recommendations on monitoring of risks. Currently, the directive does not frame DPO's activity the way GDPR will. What should accountable data controllers and processors get prepared for? They will have to designate a DPO being in capacity and having the knowledge to carry out the following tasks. First, inform and advise the controller and processor and its employees processing personal data. Second, monitor compliance with this regulation, but also with union or member state law and policies. Assign responsibilities, awareness raising and training of staff involved in the processing operations or in the audits. Provide advice on data protection impact assessment. Cooperate and be the contact point for data protection authorities. And taking into account the risk associated with the processing operations. Concretely, once again, it means that the DPO will be in a position to be consulted on core risks assessment issues. So, notably regarding data protection impact assessments, binding corporate rules, data breaches, or prior consultation of DPAs. Now, what will be interesting is to know how to ensure that the DPO guidance will be followed, and knowing more about EDPB guidance on the level of cooperation expected by the DPAs, notably regarding assessment of risks.